What's happening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with yours, Kwame Fisher Jones. As always, I am him, and I'm joined by my man, Sports Talk Terry, Everett Terry Jr. As we discuss some of the NBA news and notes of the week, first thing I want to get into, I want to give myself some credit. Before I give myself some credit, I want to add context and give myself some credit. When we started the show and did our NBA preview, I said, and you will agree with me on this, that I did not believe the Oklahoma City Thunder would be repeating as NBA champions. All right.
Okay.
Fast forward. Season starts. They start out 45-2, like some ridiculous number. And everybody's crowning them. And I kept hearing Danny Green's voice in the back of my head. If you're going to crown their asses, crown them. But we get to this point of the year, and now they are 2 games ahead of the San Antonio Spurs. Last week, I picked the Spurs to win the Western Conference. So that's looking good as well. But a reason why I'm giving myself credit is I stood out on that limb, and it wasn't anything I didn't like about OKC. I just didn't believe they were a back-to-back champion. There were certain elements of their game I just felt weren't what you saw on a back-to-back champion. I didn't think they had 2 Hall of Famers. And I think Jalen Williams is a good player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. He could turn into one 15 years down the road, but as we sit right now, I didn't see that. I question their health. I question the way they were going to go through the season. Once you get that far ahead, it's a natural form of letting your gas off the pedal. And what's it? Hungry dogs run faster. The hunter always runs faster than the hunted, if that makes sense. Or is it the hunted runs faster than the hunter? Well, the person that's chasing the food always runs faster than the person that is the food. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So all those things played into a factor. Now, I am of the mindset that Oklahoma City at this point, even with Shea's game-winning buzzer beater against Denver, is not going to make the Western Conference Finals now. That's where I'm in the mindset that I don't think they're going to make the Western Conference Finals. So I took you all around there to bring you back there. What say you?
I'm gonna use the wise words of of the great Ric Flair, formerly retired. In order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And right now, they are the man. They are the defending world champions. There's nothing that we've seen, no catastrophic injuries, no fall from grace, no letdown, slow start that shows you they're incapable of going into the playoffs and winning, with the exception of the fact that they've struggled against the San Antonio Spurs this season. And you and I have had lengthy discussions about that. So before I go ahead and say they're not going to win the West, you got to show me in the playoffs why. Because the one thing that they have on the San Antonio Spurs is playoff experience. They've had playoff series where they got deep into some series. They had to go and beat on home floor. They had to win on the road
Yeah,
and did
okay,
all
say.
the things they did all yes, they did all the things that they had to do that we have not yet seen from San Antonio. This will be the first time we'll really get to see Wemby in a prime time playoff series with expectations. Like, yes, he's a great player and a phenom and a talent, but he's playing like 25 to 30 minutes a game. They're using him very sparingly. He's also about 190 pounds soaking wet at 7'9".
Don't
Like,
disrespect that
I
man.
mean,
Don't disrespect that man. We ain't talking.
he
It's
is.
the fight of the dog. It's the fight of it's the fight. The
Nobody's
size of the fight of the
nobody
dog.
Nobody's arguing that. But what I'm saying to you, the relevance of that is while I love Wemby, I love the fact that he blocks every shot in the history of basketball that gets anywhere near his orbit. He's already surpassed Dennis Rodman and Bam Adebayo in career blocks. How's he passed Bam and Bam still playing? I don't know, but that's neither here nor there.
Crazy stat right there. He passed
That's
Dennis
true.
Rodman, who's been retired before high definition TV, and Bam, who played last night. Like, that's crazy. It's a crazy
That's
stat.
what
Go
they
ahead. My
said.
bad.
But the way that you beat him is you lean on him. You put your weight on him. You make him play where he's not comfortable. You make him work harder on defense. And the one thing that the teams who've beaten the Spurs have done is they've been very physical. If OKC finds a way to get physical with him, and granted, they needed Jalen Williams, who's been in and out most of the season with injuries. Chet Holmgren, who plays every 2 or 3 games, he's out. They got to find a way to get physical with him. Do I think that OKC can beat them? Yes. Do I think they'll beat them? No. But to say they won't even get to the Western Conference Finals is crazy unless they're playing San Antonio in the first round, which they won't be,
Okay.
because I think that's the only team that can beat them.
You always say this. You always say this is your like. I used to always say ad nauseum, and you always say styles make fights. You love that phrase. I'm gonna give you the player and teams, and this is why this is why I say what I say, not because I got lips. This is why. Phoenix, the Clippers, and Golden State. Those are your three players. I'm not going to reference the Trailblazers. They're going to make the play-in, but no one cares. Those are your four play-in teams. So that means Oklahoma City is going to finish at 2. So they're going to get one of those two teams. I don't believe one of those teams. I don't believe any of those teams can beat them in 4 times in a 7-game series, 4 times in 7 days. What I do think they can do is provide a blueprint for the next team to beat them. Sounds crazy. You make your face. That's fine. You know, you want to make the bitter beer face. Sans Phoenix. Would you say Ty Lue is a great head coach?
You said Sans Phoenix? Yeah, he's a very, very, very good head coach.
Would you say that Steve Kerr is a great head coach?
Man, during their prime, I'd say yeah, but lately, man, people have been coming at him for the way he managed Kaminga and some other things. I
You
think
know,
he's good,
Kaminga
but I
doesn't
don't think
start in
he's
Atlanta. I'm not defending Steve Kerr. I just need people to understand that. I'm getting back to the point. But just need people to understand. Jonathan Kaminga can't beat out Dyson Daniels in Atlanta. Go ahead.
Hold on. First of all, Dyson Daniels is a defensive miser. He's one of the best defenders in basketball, but that's not neither here nor there. Jonathan Kaminga also has come in and put up monstrous numbers in the games that he's played. And there's no reason with the fact that Golden State didn't have firepower without Stephen Alam that they couldn't use him. That's the only argument I have. I'm not talking about whether he starts or doesn't start. They weren't even playing him. They weren't even giving him the ball to play. And when they did give him the ball to play, he put up numbers. So why did you stop playing him? I tell you, he's got something on Steve Kerr's wife. He did something on the executive's
I can
daughter.
answer that question. This isn't a Jonathan
something.
Kaminga show. I can because he didn't play smart basketball. You're right. He should have played, but the point we can go on and on.
There's plenty of guys in the NBA who play dumb ball that still play, but that's
Not
neither
that play
here
for the Warriors. Not that play for the Warriors.
And how's that working out? Because they allow ego and pride to make.
Well,
make
if we're
their
talking
decisions
about
because they
today,
believe their
it's not
system.
working out well. But if we're talking about his totality as a coach, which was my question,
But that's also when he had a prime Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, who's been in Dallas for 2 years, and a Draymond Green who doesn't look like somebody's uncle out there running around at a rec game. That's what they look like right now. A bunch of guys
I like the fact that you ended with
YMCA.
Draymond Green because I often wonder how much Steve Kerr played in Draymond Green's development because I believe it was Steve Kerr that started Draymond Green over David Lee and not Mark Jackson. I could be wrong there, and I'm sure someone will fact check me, but I believe it was Steve Kerr who put the ball in Draymond's hands. That's why. And that's why.
But at this point, you got to also realize that it's time to move on from Draymond Green. Draymond Green is at the end.
Okay.
Like, what are we doing?
My point, because we got 10 minutes left in the segment, and I don't know where the time went, but it is what it is. But we got 10 minutes left in the show. So the point is, those coaches can provide a blueprint, provide the system, and put, for lack of a better phrase, the algorithm in place for a team to beat OKC. Because the next group,
they got to have players. Well, players on that team can do anything with OKC.
But that's my point. The next group of players that they would play would either be the Ime Udoka Rockets, the LeBron James Lakers, or possibly, those would be one of those two teams.
And they're going to run both them boys out the gym because they're younger and they're faster. Kevin Durant is 69 years old. You complain all the time about Kevin Durant. No matter whether they're a playoff team or not a playoff team,
I didn't say
he's
Kevin
going to
Durant.
27. You said Ime Udoka's Rockets, but that's a Kevin Durant team. I don't care how you cut it. All right, and that's fine. But Durant in a win is going to give you 27 points, and a loss he's going to give you 27 points. You know what you're getting. Yep. They're not a good team. Alperen Sengun is taking a step back this year. He didn't take the elevation step that you expected. You really start to see how bad they missed Fred VanVleet this year without having a point guard because their offense has no sense of direction. These guys running around just playing rec ball. Okay, cool. Then you went out and you said, LeBron, listen, the Lakers, we just ripped the Lakers last week. You just talking about how bad JJ Redick is. You talking about the Lakers. Good night. Like, you know what? No. We're gonna
These are
talk
the last
factual.
3 games. These are the 3 games the Rockets and Thunder played this year. The Rockets beat them February 7th, 112 to 106. They lost January 15th by 20, 111 to 91. The Thunder won that game, so it's 1-1. And then in overtime, the Thunder won by 125, 124. What? What? So you're
Well,
telling me
here's what I'm
that
gonna say.
look,
Here's what
before
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna give
say.
you a second, I'm gonna give you a
The
second to catch
SGA,
your
the
breath.
SGA play all those games. The SGA play all
Yes,
those games.
yes, he did. But I'm gonna give you a second to
Okay.
catch your breath and digest what I just gave you. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
What
put it
did you
on
give me? They
wax.
lost 2 out of 3. They lost two
I'm
out of
gonna put it
three.
on
We don't know
wax.
how many of them games were on back to backs. We don't know who
OKC
was in
loses
and
in
out
the
the
second
lineup.
round.
OKC.
OKC loses in the second round.
I'll bet you a cheeseburger that they don't.
And I misspoke. That would be if they stay in the number 1 seed. If they drop down to 2, which I believe they will, that's where the gumbo gets thick. Because now you're talking about Denver. Now you're talking about Minnesota. Now you're talking about outside shot at Phoenix. I actually, yeah, yeah. They lose in the second round. They lose in the second round.
What do they got, like 20 some games left? And you really think that they're going to lose 3 more games they're going to lose 3 more games that the Spurs win and that they're going to edge them out to
Great
take the
question.
1 seed?
Great question. Because you know my rule. That's why you set me up like that. And I got 6 minutes. You know my rule. That's why you set me up like that. I believe that you can make up no more than 3 games. When you're 3 games or less behind, you can make that up. Anything over 3 games, you can't make that up because now you're expecting a team to lose 3 games and you win 4 to overtake them. Now they have Golden State. Oklahoma City has 16 games left. Right now they're 51 and 15. Right, but here,
So 14 is the clincher. Got it.
okay, not necessarily because San Antonio has 18 games left. And
Okay.
they're only 2 behind. You see my math?
Okay.
So San Antonio is going to walk them down. They're both 9-1 in their last 10. San Antonio's won 4 straight, but San Antonio didn't lose a game for a month. Help me out, brother. I
Yeah.
know they went
They
like
didn't lose in
9.
February.
Yeah, they didn't lose a game for a month. And right now, OKC is on a 6-game win streak. You have to consider, though, of the teams, who's it more important to play through the finish line? It's more important to San Antonio to play through the finish line. That's why I'm saying, you mentioned Wemby's minutes. That's why I'm saying San Antonio's going to walk them down. And by walking them down, which I believe will happen, OKC also is going to have to face, in addition to being walked down, they're also going to have to face a tougher play-in tournament. Because I don't care what you say, they're not going to lose to Golden State. I don't care what you say, they're not going to lose to the Clippers. But those teams have good enough vets and they have good enough coaching to put things in place that another team with the right arsenal can take advantage of. Floor is yours.
So I took a minute here and I'm just kind of going through the schedule.
4 minutes left, brother.
This is kind of crazy. So
You're about
OKC,
to
I'm gonna
agree
give
with
you
me. You're about to agree with me. That's what you're about to
okay.
do. You're about to agree with
Okay.
me.
OKC got a bit of a gauntlet. So they got the
Yeah,
Celtics on
man.
Thursday with Tatum. They got the Timberwolves on Sunday, the Magic on Tuesday. Then they kind of got a
The
bye week because they
Surging
got the
Magic.
Nets, Wizards. They got the Nets, Wizards, and Sixers. So that's 3 easy wins. Then they got the Celtics again, the Bulls, the Knicks, the Pistons, the Lakers again, the Clippers, the Nuggets, and they close with the Suns. That's a gauntlet. That's a gauntlet
Not
to win
just
all those games.
just like you say, styles make fights. I always say I don't talk just because I got lips, brother.
I didn't know they had that many. Like those are all every one of those
And
games
they're
are
going
playoff games.
to
Every
rest
one of
their
those teams
players.
they're playing. Oh, of course. And they're
Go ahead.
all
I
playing
interrupted
against
you.
teams they're playing all teams that need to beat them. Like they're not playing guys like I mean, yeah, the Nets, the Wizards, the Sixers, whatever. But everybody else needs to win. Now, in that same breath, I go through, hold on, don't get too excited now. The Spurs got to play the Celtics today. They got the
Yeah.
Nuggets, who the Thunder just beat. They got the Hornets, who are fast risers. The Clippers. They got the Kings lay down. They got the Suns, Pacers lay down. Heat and Grizzlies and Bucks and Bulls and Warriors, Clippers,
lot of
Nuggets.
ands.
Yeah, but they got a lot of teams too. I mean, they got some giveaway games, but they play the Nuggets twice. They got to play the Trailblazers, who are fighting for a playoff spot, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Celtics. I mean, they got some games on there too, and the Hornets. Like they got some games. This is gonna be fun.
Quickly.
Gonna be
So
fun.
like I said, you got right now you got OKC Thunder 66, right? So they got 16 games left. San Antonio Spurs 64. They got 18 games left. I say the Spurs without a blink, not even blinking. I say the Spurs go 14-4 to end the season. That puts them at 7. That puts them at 6. That puts them at 61 wins. Can you see Oklahoma going 11-5 to end the season?
Yeah, 11-5, I can see.
Yeah, I don't. I
Because
don't. I
because
think.
I looked at their schedule. They don't have a lot of back to backs. They have space in
Uh-huh.
their games, because they're down at the back stretch of the season. And even the tough games that they had, like they played against the Nuggets, SGA with the game winner last night. Okay, cool. They don't play again until Thursday. Like they got
Mm-hmm.
3 days off before they play again against the Celtics, so they'll be well rested. The Celtics will just play the Spurs tonight, and then turn around and play the Thunder on Thursday on a day behind a game. So it's like they're coming in, they're on the West Coast. It's like, they got to kind of get back into game shape because they just played a tough battle you expect against the Spurs. Then to come and go against OKC, is going to run up and down the floor. That might play to OKC's favor because they're going to be well rested. I mean, there's a lot of things there that could go OKC's way. I don't think OKC loses 6 games out of 16. I don't think they go 10-6.
I
That's what
think
I
they go
don't.
10-6 because of injuries, and they go 10-6 because of
Who's
preservation.
getting injured?
Jalen Williams is not getting it. No, I don't ever want to put that in. We got less than a minute. I don't ever want to put that in here. Jalen Williams has been dealing with injuries all season. I'm not saying he's
Yeah,
getting it.
and they're
Dealing
winning
with
without him.
injuries. And Chet has and Isaiah Hartenstein, they've all been dealing with injury. Hopefully they're healthy going into the playoffs. That's what I hope. That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you like the episode, make sure you share, subscribe, comment, whatever your podcast platform allows you to do. He's Everett Terry Jr. I'm Kwame Fisher Jones. Until next week, we appreciate your time and ear. You be easy.